Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
The days are getting shorter, and you can feel it in the air. Yes, it's that time of year. Pumpkin is finally back at Dunkin'. It's the cozy you've been craving all summer long, now in your cup at Dunkin'. Pick up all of your pumpkin favorites, like the signature pumpkin spice iced latte, or a pumpkin iced coffee, and bakery items like pumpkin donuts and muffins. Sip into something comfortable to celebrate the start of cozy season. Use the Dunkin' app for contactless ordering. America runs on Dunkin'.
Okay, so you're between meals and you're craving something sweet, right? What I do is snack on Blue Diamond honey roasted almonds. They're so good. And almonds are a superfood. So don't deny your cravings. Eat them.
Blue Diamond almonds. Crave victoriously.
It's after midnight and she's on your phone saying come over 'cause she's all alone. I could tell it was your ex by your tone. Why is she calling now after so long? Now what is it that she wants? Tell me what is it that she needs? Did she hear about the brand new Benz that you just bought for me?
'Cause y'all didn't have no kids, didn't share no mutual friends. And you told me that she turned trick when y'all broke up in 96. What you gonna do when you can't say no? When the feelings start to show, boy, I really need to know it. How you gonna act? How you gonna handle that? What you gonna do when she wants you back? What you gonna do when you can't say no? When the feelings start to show, boy, I really need to know it. How you gonna act? How you gonna handle that? What you gonna do when she wants you back? Whoa, ha, ha, whoa, ha, 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 whoa, ha, 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 whoa, ha, 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 whoa, ha, ha. Whoa ha whoa ha whoa ha ha whoa ha ha ha
whoa ha ha whoa ha 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 whoa ha 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 whoa ha 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 whoa ha ha whoa ha ha whoa ha ha.
It's after midnight and she's on your phone. Saying come over 'cause she's all alone.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Jade and XD.
That was my burn, but in lighter clicks. It's like
like Morse code.
Yeah. Welcome to the blackest show about nothing.
So let me get this out the way.
Go ahead.
Get this out of the way now. So if you didn't know, I moved to Los Angeles by this time you hear this a few days ago. Almost a week now. So yeah, I moved to LA.
There is probably no single area holding so much of charm and beauty and the good things of life as Southern California. From the beautifully designed Spanish-type station at Los Angeles, in the heart of the City of the Angels, the thrill of Southern California.
I'm going to explain more in video form, which will be out today by the time you're listening to this. Essentially, I was put in a position that forced me to act very quickly. And And it just happened that fate and the universe and God manifested itself for me to be in Los Angeles. I know it's wild during a pandemic, but it's something that I needed to do ultimately. And it's only a good thing's going to come out of it. It doesn't mean that the show is stopping. And in fact, it's quite the opposite. So, yes, Jade is not quitting. I'm not quitting. If anything, and what we can't wait to announce to you all, just know that we have some really, really great stuff happening on this side. But, it's just going to be coast to coast with Jade and XD. So. Granted, Jade and I have not recorded physically together since April.
It doesn't motherfucking matter. We spent every Thanksgiving and every crema together for the past decade. That has been a tradition. And then you left me for acai bowls and kale chips, motherfucking smoothies and rollerblades and fucking niggas in drawers with snakes around their necks and legal weed and unicycles and fucking...
I feel like the only thing you're upset about is the unicycles and the niggas who have snakes. Otherwise, this sounds like a little bit of jealousy.
The last time I was in LA, Postmates fucked me over. Every time I ordered food. I think it was one time the shit worked right. And so I put that juju on you for 2 weeks. I do. Oh my gosh!
You know what's interesting is that in order for me to get on the freeway to get anywhere, I have to pass that apartment that we stayed at.
You see, I hope you're sad every time. XD didn't even cry. He didn't even say goodbye to me.
Don't do that. I did. You were supposed to come see me, but you were like, no, let my husband go take care of it.
Cause I didn't want to cry.
Oh, okay.
Cause XD, I don't wanna cry.
But I did see Jay before I left.
My mission was to try to make him cry, but he was dead inside, and we were all really high.
Everybody's been trying to get me to emote and shit. I'm just like,
nigga, I don't care about everybody, nigga. I'm not everybody, nigga.
No, I'm just saying I'm not sad because I know that I'm going to see my friends again, and I know that it's not the end. It'd be different if I was moving to Denmark or something. You know what I mean?
Is this the end? Are you my friend?
No. Although, at this rate, no. I meant moving. If I'm moving to Denmark, you never know. I need to be out of, the world is.
We would definitely never be able to record if we.
Yeah.
that would be the official end.
Yeah. If
that nigga says he's moving to Europe, and we not both moving to Europe, that's it.
No, that wouldn't work. But no, LA made sense for a lot of reasons, professionally and personally, and I know a lot of people, if you have questions, I'll feel free to answer. I'm going to have a video Q&A highlighting how it was traveling during this pandemic. I will say ahead of time now, don't go outside. But if you have to travel, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had flying. It was if you have to, don't travel. Stay at home, flatten the curve. But if you have to go somewhere, it was kind of lit, not gonna lie.
That's real, well, I wish you well and shit, nigga. I only want what's best for you.
Yeah,
I will.
Know, it's a little sore.
I will tell you, if anybody out there harms you in any way or tries to, I will jump on my broom and be there lickety nigga split, okay?
I keep a rabbit's foot in my freezer for a reason.
That's
I show up in dreams.
That's all I'm saying.
But But LA is really cool for the few days I've been here. Figuratively, because it's not hot at all. Like, it's pleasant. It's 80 with the breeze.
72.
And it's asshole hot in New York City.
Yes, it's pretty motherfucking hot right now. And, you know, niggas' thighs are sweating. But it's fine. You're in a new environment. And everybody wishes you well, self-included, even if I'm bitter. And, you know, when you answer them Q&As and you do them Q&As on your YouTube, you better answer every fucking question that I put, because I submitted questions. And I want to know in explicit detail the responses to those questions on that YouTube video. And again, I'm going to watch that motherfucking video and make sure every last one of my preguntas was answered. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my gosh. Well, the video has been posted, but if you have any more questions, just feel free to DM me or tweet me, and I'll have to make another video. I'm trying to direct everything towards the YouTube channel, because that's what I'm doing. So.
And make sure before you ask these questions, ask yourself, is it your business?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not coming at nobody's neck. I know niggas think I've been letting the chopper spray all week. But just, you know, before you ask questions, just make sure you just ask yourself real quick. Is this question, is this a sincere question, or am I being nosy? Is this truly my business? That's all I'm saying. Because niggas been getting out of pocket, and
people need to allow folks grace and allow folks to be human, even if, you know, I understand that people take their escapism seriously, especially during these troubling times. But it also goes back to what I say all the time about, you can't say Black Lives Matter if you do nothing to preserve the living. And that's also supporting people who need a break to preserve their being alive. So you have to be conscious about that. Allow people to be human, allow people to be grace, to allow people grace to, you know, be better people or be healthy, you know. Like, I get it, escapism is cool, but again, at what cost? Like, you would have this method to escape to. You wouldn't have a podcast, you wouldn't have a show to listen to if these folks weren't healthy and happy and alive. So you have to, you know, think about that. Like, if you want, that's what's been irritating me. Like, what I've seen in responses for not just particular shows taking a break during this time, but just in general, like this demand of especially of Black creators.
Right,
like and how they're controlling things and controlling art, or they feel like they have the need to or have the license to, and it's like, you know, it's very sticky. I get you support them, and so you feel like you have a stake, but ultimately we're going to work. We're going to work, and we do these things to you know, yes, earn a living and also entertain. But again, these things would not exist if we weren't alive and healthy and in the right spaces. So if you really truly support these folks that you listen to and watch on TV or whatever, you have to allow them to just be human and just be like, okay, well, let them get themselves together and they'll be back with the heat. So
that was so nice and diplomatic. That really was. That was nice and diplomatic and very honest and sincerely my same thoughts. You know, the foundation of it is the same. But what I would like to add too is, before you run your motherfucking mouth and say stupid ass shit about what you think about what niggas should be doing, stop and ask yourself how you would feel if somebody came at you with that same motherfucking energy. And then when somebody points out to you that your energy is wrong, then don't double down on your dumbass fucking opinion. when the first thing you said was stupid. That's all I'm saying. Don't double, because that's where you got the whole game fucked up. But before you even come and get ready to comment on some shit, think to yourself, A, how would I feel if somebody came and thought this about me in the realm that I'm in my life? And B, is this necessary? Like, is this necessary for me to do? Because you don't know what the fuck people are doing. You have no clue. You can say dumbass shit like, well, you just sit up in your house and record a fucking podcast, but you don't know nothing about what goes into recording that podcast. You don't know nothing about what's going on in people's motherfucking personal ass lives. You don't know what's going on with people's families, household. You don't know none of that fucking shit. So before you fix your entitled ass fucking lips to say anything about what anybody's doing, think to yourself, is this adding to anything positively what I'm about to say? Is this showing any concern for the current black lives that are living right now? And should I shut the fuck up?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much that. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, thank you for listening to our show.
All the time. We are so grateful.
Thank you to our new listeners. Shout out to the person that's been live tweeting all of our episodes, it seems like, because it sounds like they've just discovered us.
Wait, what?
And they've been tweeting us, so shout out to you.
Congratulations.
I know. I'm always fast. I do want to apologize about the echo if there is one. Because my furniture has not come in yet. That's another challenge. I had to order my entire apartment. So like my whole entire apartment, everything, like to live, couches, furniture, end tables, lamps, dishes, everything has come in a box to my doorstep. And that has been you would think as a tourist that would be amazing to me because I could just sit the fuck at home and have fabulousness brought to me. Oh, but no, ma'am. It is not. Especially when you have to buy big expensive items like a couch. So
you could live like my aunt and uncle. Every time they move back and forth between Guatemala and the United States, they just buy lawn furniture, and then they get rid of it when they leave. I'm dead ass. These niggas moved to the States for 3 months. They come to make some money. They buy some lawn furniture and a bed. They get a little apartment. They hook it up with some cuteness. They put the lawn furniture in there, and them niggas get rid of the lawn furniture and be out back to Guatemala.
That's lit, low key.
Back to Monjas in the mountains.
That's lit, actually.
It's a good time.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all. But the change of furniture shopping or apartment shopping is different during a pandemic. So navigating that, like I went to Walmart.
You went to Walmart.
Yeah. First of all, the crazy thing, if I ain't catch COVID on the plane, I know I may have caught it in fucking Walmart because Walmart won't stop Walmarting, even during a pandemic. Like, and regardless of where you go, I went to fucking Burbank, California for a Walmart. It's still Walmart. Like, the culture of Walmart is so ingrained. Like, it's the same wherever you go.
It's universal.
I'm knocking on wood.
Or
I don't want COVID.
United States universal or whatever the fuck. Walmart is, there's a certain aesthetic that just comes with it.
Mm-hmm. I didn't, like, there was in the parking lot of Walmart, there was a white truck that had a Trump supporter sticker on it. But the weird thing was it was like Navajo plumbing or something. So it was like natives for Trump.
Wait a minute.
I know.
Natives for Trump?
Yeah, it was strange.
I've officially heard it all.
Yeah, I was
thing. Wait a minute. Hold on.
It was so interesting. I mean, I didn't see who was in the thing. It was just parked in the parking lot. I was like, this is some shit, man.
Wait a minute.
But you know what? I'm sure there's ethnic groups for conservatives, all of them. Like, I'm sure there's like, there's like Latinx people for Trump. I'm sure there's Asian folks for Trump.
We knew all about that.
I'm sure there's Middle Eastern people for Trump. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's...
Oh, a homeboy of mine told me about... So they had an Airbnb guest, like a long-term one, who was staying at their house for a while. And this young man was from China. He was not just Chinese American. He was from China visiting. And every day wore a MAGA hat.
You see what I mean? Because it's like pop culture-y. You know what I mean? Not necessarily.
Wait a minute. There is a Facebook group. Native Americans who support U.S. President Trump. Wait a minute. Bitch, I'm not a spam or whatever the fuck. Why do I need to... We are indigenous Native Americans who support U.S. blah, 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 because we are free thinkers and we don't support globalism or the NWO.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. Or excuse me, that's a little wild.
Like, what the fuck? Of all groups, that's just not one that I just thought could. I just don't know. That just threw me.
Yeah.
That just threw me and blew me. Well, so you moved to LA. You feel good about your life.
I do.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's take a break.
Let's take a break. And we'll be right back after these messages. Oh, before we should say, so we have our interview with Whitney and her significant other, George, coming up. So if there's a change in audio, just know that we had a Zoom call.
Yes, it's 90 Day Fiancé, the real way.
Yes, because they have very close ties to that type of environment. And it's a very interesting discussion to be had. So stay tuned and we'll talk to you right after this. Bye.
Bye.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Okay, so work's done and you're craving something spicy and salty. I know. What I do is snack on Blue Diamond wasabi and soy sauce flavored almonds. They're so good, and almonds are a superfood. Don't deny your cravings. Eat them. Blue Diamond almonds. Crave victoriously. Okay, so work's done and you're craving something spicy and salty. I know. What I do is snack on Blue Diamond wasabi and soy sauce flavored almonds. They're so good, and almonds are a superfood. Don't deny your cravings. Eat them. Blue Diamond almonds. Crave victoriously.
And we're back, and we have our friends here from way, 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 way across the pond.
Family!
We have Whitney. Yeah, we have Whitney and George here. Hi, guys. So, Whitney is a longtime friend of both Jade and mine.
Yes.
And she moved away from us a long periodically time ago to...
It was 6 years yesterday that we had that party.
We had a going away party?
With Lauren at Lauren's spot, that Louisiana brunch spot.
That was going
Anthony Mackie's restaurant. Yeah.
That chaotic brunch where we were on the high boys or on this low seats. Which one was it?
I feel like we was out a little bit.
Oh yes,
it was hot as hell that day too.
Chaos and negativity.
It came up 2 days ago, I think, on my time hop, that 6 years ago around this time I was chucking the deuces.
That's brazy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because Rob came.
My cousin. I think my cousin was here, if I'm not mistaken. My cousin was there from Trinidad with her husband.
Oh, yes, because they came to the crib. Memories.
So we thought it would be fun. We thought it would be fun to incorporate them in our discussion with us for 90 Day Fiancé the other way, because Whitney has moved away across the country and found love in a whole nother country.
I guess you could call it that, I guess.
You know, okay, don't play him. He's right there. But,
you expat.
Right. So we're going to go through the stories of this week's past episode, and then we're going to jump in and try to connect, you know, where there's some similarities with our friends and where it fit in your guys' experience, right? Okay?
This is going to be so exciting. I'm so excited for this.
I know.
Not watching. He'll only like look over my shoulder and watch it and judge them from afar.
No. So XD
well, we
and I
judge them from afar too.
Yeah, do. And we're quite excited that George doesn't watch the show. Actually, we feel like this is going to make this that much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yes, indeedy. So,
Jay, do you want to start
with? Oh, well, who you want to start with?
This week's episode was a lot. I feel like the last couple of weeks have been heavy.
Well, okay. So, George,
let's get the white gays out the way.
Okay, so Mitchell from Modern Family, and
Armando.
Yes.
Right.
So
George, if you don't know, it is these two is a white gay man from Florida and a Mexican gay man from the middle of Mexico. The man from Mexico was on the down low and didn't want to tell his parents that he was gay, and he was about to leave his whole family and leave with his daughter, catch it, and move 4 hours away to live with a white man that he met. Exactly.
Yes.
You see what I mean? It's great that you never watched the show, because now you can like genuinely judge these people.
We love the authentic reactions. We live for them, actually.
Man is quintessentially Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Deeply. As Mexican as his Mexican man is as Floridian as this man is. It hits hard.
Although I do get a smidge of Californian.
Do you?
Like I
That's
feel
just
like
the gay.
Is that what it is? Because he's like,
yeah.
Because I was like, he doesn't give me as batshit crazy as like your typical Floridian. Sorry, Whitney.
He is like truly Floridian. It is
okay.
Like he doesn't have an American flag in his backyard, but he has one in his living room.
But I was going to say, but he's gay, but never mind. Carry on.
Go on.
Okay. So, hot gay dads. Oh, they both got kids.
Yeah.
They their story was real quick. They are now, you know, living together on their beachfront property, and white Mitch is, you know, being really American and entitled, and
because he doesn't appreciate it.
Absolutely.
No, not at all.
That gorgeous ass apartment in that quaint, beautiful town. I was so irritated.
And lovely furnishings.
That's housing in Florida will do to you, though. You get a good popcorn ceiling and you think you're too good.
Well, it's not a popcorn ceiling. That's so 1993.
Florida, that's what happens in Florida. A good popcorn ceiling got you feeling like you above and beyond beachfront property in Mexico. So, but go off.
Is it me or does LA feel like 1993?
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's
true. I was walking to the store and I was like, oh, if a Bronco drove right by, it would be right on time.
It would be no difference. Be interested where the first time we got there, we were driving on the freeways and shit in the Uber. We were like, There's something like real nostalgic about this place. I'm sorry, XD. We'll talk about that later.
You can still smell the... Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You can still smell the LA riots.
Yeah. You can in the air. All right, continue. So he's very Floridian.
Go on.
Yeah. So he's very Floridian. So this episode focuses on Armando's issues, internalized homophobia, and White Mitch's entitlement. Because where I've been in the exact situation before. Basically, Mitch want to be free and hold hands and shit, and Armando is like, no, chill. I don't know this neighborhood like that. I'm not trying to get us like killed or whatever. And Wyatt Mitch is like, I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. What are they gonna do? Just call us faggots or whatever? And Armando's like, yeah, no. Like they might kill us.
It's clear that White Mitch has never listened to Jamaican music from forever. The stoning is real, okay? So Armando knows the deal. He knows what it is.
And that's what I gathered. He was like, it's not that I'm trying to be closeted. He's like, A, I don't know the safety levels of this spot. He was like, and B, I can tell you what Mexico is as a whole and why it's been hard for me to be myself. So, you're going to have to work with me as I take these baby steps in showing PDA.
Absolutely.
And that was them.
Right. Who's next?
Let's do a cheese stick.
Oh, yes.
So George, let me give you the skinny.
I feel like you guys
quick.
would like cheese stick. Yeah.
So cheese stick is a white boy from somewhere in America. I don't know. Some nondescript. Where is he from? No, some nondescript. The middle of America. Okay. So he's from there. He met this girl from Colombia when she came over to go to school and learn English. And, they fell deeply, madly, truly in love. And she, she's a cute girl. You know what I'm saying? And she's like a bad bitch. Like, I don't need no nigga. But she was like, but I'm going to give you a chance, though, and fell in love. She moved back to Colombia because your girl was not interested in staying long-term in the United States. Can't blame her. And then she came back to stay with him for 6 months so they can see how it felt to live together. And then she was like, something smells funny. This nigga is moving real wild right now. So she goes and looks through his social media and finds out that he's been creeping and sleeping with a coworker. So then she goes back to Colombia and she's like, I don't need this shit. And then my nigga moves to Colombia to prove his love to she. That's the gist.
So upon arrival, all of Noah's Ark.
2 of everything. She was like, I don't know where we're going to put your suitcases, but the dogs, the giraffes, the rabbits, and the hamsters are all riding in here in my smart car.
Right.
It's this big.
Mama pulled up in a Geo Metro to pick up Big Cheese Stick, who is my height. He's like 6'4".
George, he's big like you.
He's a big dude.
There you go.
No joke. And he had to play it off because guess what, nigga? You fucked up. And all she's looking for is for you to trip off about anything. I brought both my dogs, and what? Oh. I thought you may have had a problem. I'm sorry. Oh.
Okay. Which I picked up on that too. I felt like she was really looking for a reason to like pop off the whole time because her mama put her battery in her back when she was doing her hair.
Aeropuerto, nope.
Right. She was like, discontenta.
Exactly. And so she picked him up. Like, I feel like she's doing kind of like what Evelyn kind of did last season, but I feel like she's doing the most to like make him miserable. But then,
ask a question: why do we like Melissa more than Evelyn? Because I don't like Evelyn. She stresses.
Because Corey didn't cheat on Evelyn.
Corey did not cheat on.
No.
They give similar vibes, but there's something about Melissa.
It's because we don't like Evelyn because she was taking all of Corey's money. And she was creeping with that nigga from around the way, and who befriended Corey and was like, "No, you my homeboy, but as soon as this shit don't work out, I'm taking your girl."
Yeah,
that's why we don't
just kind
like
of evil and like and usy. Yeah, and cold and just like. Whereas this girl really loves this nigga, and she's like, he really hurt my feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you.
I didn't even like no white boy. You had the nerve to cheat on me?
He made it clear. She was like, usually I don't get down like this, but
I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna step into the bad side. Go ahead, XD.
Here he go.
Right, and I think she is even doing herself a lot. Like, this conversation is doing herself a disservice too, because of the fact that she's trying to like beg her mother to be like, please be okay with this relationship, but then why at this table bring it up in the manner the way she did? I feel like if you're going to agree to move on, then you're gonna have to not dead it, but you should have addressed all of these issues before he moved to
I also
Colombia.
understand needing to find like some final clarity, like in person. Like, we're gonna have this conversation. I understand you moved here, but we're gonna have this conversation, and then I'm gonna try to work through it as long as I see that you are working to be a better person. But please,
I have to always acknowledge that there are people on this planet who look to their parents for validation and assuredness. People, because of my own history. So I left home at a very early age. I left home when I was 17, and I never looked back. But when I watched things like this, like, it sounded like when she brought it up at the table when she was getting her hair done, that she needed her mom to be okay with it. And her mom was like, nah, girl, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And it wasn't on some mother-daughter shit. It was on some woman-to-woman shit. Like, well, I want you to know that as a woman, this is a no-go for me personally, and it's a no-go for me as your mother. I would personally never asked my mother for clarification on any circumstance that was related to that, but it was interesting to see her seeking validation from her mom. Like, even the simple question, like, will you come to the airport with me? Like, she knew what it was going to be. She knew what.
No.
No.
I won't be doing that.
Clarified to me where this girl lies within her parents. That her parents are still at this young age, because they're young. Like, factors. There's still kind of like little litmus tests for the thing.
Yeah.
But that's also a good point to know that parental approval is a big part of this whole show, outside of just the American part, but like how parental approval is so deeply entrenched in other people's cultures. Because like with Brittany and Yazan, like that shit is just something that they're just never gonna.
We can.
We know. We are. Trust me, we did this on purpose. So,
but I agree though. It's like it's like, I get you need to have this conversation where they bring it up, and Cheesestick is trying to defend himself, even though he tripped up in I get what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
But it just didn't come out. This whole episode was lost in translation because every storyline had a communication fuck up.
Every single one. I said, look at the theme. Look at the theme. So I'm not mad at her for the questions that she asked. I'm not mad for that. I'm not mad for needing to have that conversation up in his face and like wanting to get it out of the way so that they can move forward for the rest of their time. But I also understand that there needs to be a sense where you can't constantly bring that in here, because this is what we agreed. Like, I said, okay for you to move here, you moved here, so if we're truly going to move forward, then let's try to do that.
Yeah, I think that men don't, not even, I can't say men, let me not do that. I think that people who cheat fail to consider the perspective of the person who's cheated on, right?
Yep.
Sure.
And from my perspective, I'm going to come from a woman's perspective. Women, we'll ask the details. Like, was she prettier? Like, is she pretty? Did you like it? When did it happen? You want all these details. And the man will answer these questions from a very, like, heteronormative perspective. Mm-hmm. Will accept it and get upset. And then it'll dissipate for a bit. And then we'll kick it off again. Well, was it this? Was it that? And this, our partner will be like, well, I already answered these questions. Why do I have to keep talking about this? Yes, you have to keep confirming this information until I am satisfied. And this is the whole idea. To me, this is the whole idea of the violation. He violated, they who violated has to keep repeating unless they decide, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm good. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I can't do this anymore. Or if you're going to stick into it, explaining to the other person, this is not healthy. This is not helping you. It's not serving you, whatever the case may be. But being completely opposed to the questions coming up.
Oh, no. No. That's why I said it was fine for her to ask those questions. She is entitled and has a right to ask those questions.
Validation. She needs to be able to put things into perspective. Like, sometimes, like, for me, I'll ask the question 3-4 times until I'm clear about the answer.
Does she do that, George? How does that make you feel?
I'm getting interrogated.
Now, what if you were the violator? Which we all know George ain't even like that. So, but let's just say you were the violator and she is the violatee.
Are you prepared for the cycle of questions?
Well, no. I think no man is really prepared for that. You know?
But do you understand why we need to ask those questions?
Of course, because it's a part of accountability, and it's like, of course you want to know what the other woman, supposedly other woman would be like, what she looks like or whatever. I get it.
But niggas don't want to know.
I was about to say, as a man, would you not want to know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey. Look at me being wrong. Because I know a lot of niggas who be like,
you want to know.
I want to know if I can square up with this,
He's like, I want to know if this nigga can fight. Yeah.
That's real.
Fight, though.
That's real.
I feel like those kind of questions are important, and a lot of the times when I hear, like, the narrative that I hear is that men, or not even men, I don't want to just say it's men, the partner will commit the crime, feel guilty, take accountability, but then they want it to end. They want an end date.
Yeah.
But people...
That's not.
Speaking as one of the people who have committed the crimes, you're like, oh, it happened. I'm so sorry. I take accountability, but now we want to move on. And the other person's not ready to move on. And me, as the person who cheated, if I cheat and I take accountability and my partner's not ready to move on, technically, that's their right. It's up to me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you can't move on, then I can't do this anymore. But you can't decide, we're going to make this work. I'm going to take accountability.
Oh, no. But
no, you can't rush the person along. They were victimized.
You can't. I feel like every victim deserves to take their time and have their time to process this. But I do feel like if you do agree to move forward with this person and not end the relationship. And not saying you need to make a decision about that tomorrow or even the next week, because when you invest time and you invest energy and you invest all sorts of things into a relationship, then a decision like that is not an easy decision. Like, I don't know, people who come and they be like, I would leave that nigga. I would leave. No, you don't know until you're in that situation, especially depending upon how much you've invested. You know what I'm saying? And so when it comes to she can do better, then she's at this point where she's like, I literally agreed to live in America for this period of time. I stayed in America for this period of time and invested this, so I do want to move forward. But at a certain point, there has to be an actual moving forward. It doesn't mean that you don't have a right to address transgressions as they come up, as they come up in your spirit. Past transgressions, like, this is how I'm feeling today. Everybody should feel validated in sharing that experience, especially as a victim. I hate that word, but you know what I mean.
No,
but
call it victim, survivor, whoever, whatever.
Right.
I absolutely agree with what you're saying. I think that it's just a matter of like agreeing to the terminology of it.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, the biggest word in any of these scenarios is accountability.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And niggas cannot talk about it one time and say, all right, I'm done with this, because you don't get to do that because you did this.
Right.
We would not be in this situation if you did not do this.
Absolutely. That's it. Exactly. It's
just a bit of a balance, but the accountability is a huge part of it.
It's like, I don't want to keep talking about the epic mistake that I made. I get that.
Yeah.
In a relationship, when you make that decision and you know it's wrong and you know how your partner's going to feel about it, and this girl minces no words. She said, I am a bad bitch.
I live.
I have red face.
I live.
Yeah.
And
like same.
Trust me, you will know. So he knew this about her. That's what attracted him to her. And that's my problem. A lot of times you'll see the person that you're attracted to and be like, oh, I love this thing. Like the thing I love about George is that he's smoldering. There's something very intense about his countenance, right? But I can't be shocked and surprised and when he's intense about something. You're not allowed to do that. I knew that about him. I met him. So to me, Cheese Stick met Melissa and was like, oh, I love this intensity about her. I love this about her. And you made a decision to violate her trust, and you knew how she was going to respond. She was going to shut her down.
And the other thing, too, that I appreciated was that it's not always about the violation itself. The questions she was asking were about the intent and how this all came about, because there is manipulation and then there is shit that happens. If we just gonna be adults about this and talk about it, sometimes shit happens. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't, but it has.
Absolutely.
There's also a situation where it has been manipulative. It has been going on. There has been and she also brought up the fact that she's like, and I didn't find out about this because he came to me and told me. I found out about this because I went digging because I knew some shit wasn't right. So you have to consider those variables in there as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm not mad at her at all. I'm not mad at her. I just also, it's not healthy for you as a person if you decide to move forward with this to sit in that. You can't sit in it. You have to try to figure out ways for yourself. That's not healthy for you. Or leave. You know, if you figured out that I can't live with this, and every time I look at you, I see this transgression, then that's the point in time when it's like, okay, maybe this is not what I need to be doing.
Absolutely.
Who's next?
Let's do Ethiopian Bruce Leroy and Veruca Salt.
Or
Willa Ford, whichever you want to call her.
He was not equipped. He was not ready for her mama.
Oh, baby. I don't think anybody
This
was.
whole story made me extremely uncomfortable. And you know why it made me uncomfortable? Because it was very much like those like videos from the 80s. Remember when they had like Save Darfur and shit? When there was a bunch of white people going, and it was just like they filmed a whole bunch of commercials, and you had fucking Sally Struthers out there eating all they fucking food, talking about they 70 cents a day and shit.
Sally Struthers was eating all those children's meals.
Time in a third world country hospital, a maternity ward at that. This episode resonated with me because there's an assumption that exists about the medical care in spaces that look like this, and to me, it was like a combination. You know how we feel about white people, right? Like we're like, well, we don't need your confirmation. We don't want your confirmation. Confirmation helps, right? Like I did low-key appreciate the mother being very real, saying like, I really would have preferred if it was bullshit so I could snatch my daughter situation. Move the fuck on. It was really reaffirming for me. For her to go through this Ethiopian hospital, it looked a lot like Port of Spain General in Trinidad. I'll never forget, I had an ectopic pregnancy in 2013. And my grandmother, who worked in the hospital, this was 7 years ago, so my grandmother was 82 at the time. And she walked in and she goes, they didn't change anything. I was like... I'm in the hospital. Wow. I'm like, girl, are you serious? Yeah, she was like, it's 2013. When I came back to New York, and I of course, again, Trinidadian woman, first generation, all those things. But there's still something, that was the moment where I realized I'm not truly as Trini as I would like to think I am. Because when I have to go to their public hospital, I'm like, well, girl, I need follow-up. I need a...
Oh, listen, initially... Oh, my bad. Go ahead, boo.
My doctor in Lenox Hill in Manhattan was like, oh, they did a beautiful job. It was great. I got tested. I got all these things done. And she was like, epic, wonderful. And it was a confirmation of the ability of these spaces that are typically just in a very, opinionated space are put upon, right? Like they're like, oh, it's not that great. Like I'm looking at their medical facilities. I'm like, it doesn't look like America. You know, it doesn't look the same, but they're quite capable. They're trained.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. And it was really validating to see that, even though it's Ethiopia and not Trinidad on the screen, but it was like, they know what they're doing. They know how to they know how to take care of women, and you're going to be fine. And that's ultimately what I experienced in my own personal experience. So it was really reaffirming to watch it happen on like a global scale on is it WeTV?
TLC.
Navigate this space and say, okay, a white nurse from a high level space saying, oh, this is exactly what you need. Oh, my own daughter is good here, and her expressing her comfort and her security in that. I really enjoyed that.
Yes, because I appreciate, because I was concerned. Initially, I was like, okay, I don't want to hear this white lady come in here and then like be so surprised about how beautiful it is. But I also, on the other hand, appreciated the fact that she didn't try to keep up, you know, the facade. It didn't end up seeming like, I never want to sound like I'm on the side of this foolishness, of that foolishness, but in the end, it ended up seeming like she really did not go there with the intention of making sure that these people are trash. She really went there with the intention of making sure her daughter's birth was going to be healthy and good. And in her admitting, I wanted this to be a bad experience so I can have an excuse to take her back, but I honestly don't have any complaints about this healthcare system. I was like, okay, I can appreciate that, because that's when it set with me. I was like, it doesn't seem like it's just about the fact that, like, it's not about the fact that he's black. No. It's about the fact that she really wants to make sure her daughter's good.
In medical facilities in America, as mothers, as soon-to-be mothers. So it can't be about that. That's not how I received it. I received it from a more neutral space. Whereas if we're more inclined to pass away during birthing experiences, labor, whatever, it would be a different story. But because that's the case, I received it in a very neutral space. It wasn't about her being a white.
And furthermore, I looked at it too, like, they having more babies over here than we having in the States. You know what I'm saying? And their babies are being birthed and coming out and running around in droves of children and having a blast. You know what I'm saying? They're having a good ass time in these neighborhoods, running amok. And so if you see all these nigglets running around, what makes you think that these people don't have a proper healthcare system to be able to birth these babies?
Absolutely.
But I also understand the concern from seeing the first two apartments as well. It's like, you're not really selling this for your girl.
Can I just say that one of those bathrooms did remind me of my childhood, though? I'm not.
Oh, wow.
Work.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so the woman that used to take care of us, I can't even call her a nanny, because nanny has this like very exclusive connotation to it. But, you know, in the Caribbean, they're like, it's kind of like a need-based thing. Like, oh, I need childcare, you need work, so we're going to work in conjunction with each other to make this happen. So we had this woman named Laurel who took care of me and my cousin in Trinidad when we were little. And the bathrooms reminded me of a multi-purpose room, right? It's a laundry room. It is a washing room. It is a bathroom. It's a toilet. It's all of these things. And it's not necessarily like perfectly equipped.
Right.
So wait, it's just like a random room that has like plumbing in it, and so you just use it as such. So it's like a space with plumbing. Is that what you're describing? Because that's what I got.
Europe back here, okay, yeah.
I can't wait to get George. I got questions for you, George. So you just wait till the second half of this shit.
Yes, because I have same questions too.
Hot water was a luxury. So Laurel used to boil the water in a kettle and then bring it to the bathroom that had everything hanging up to dry, all the laundry and whatnot. And she used to pour it into the tub. And me and my cousin used to scoot our little toes back to make sure we don't get scalded by the water. And that's how we would bathe. And it was familiar to me. As again, first generation American, I spent most of my time in New York City, which we had hot water in a pipe. We could turn the hot water on and off and the cold water on and off. In Trinidad, by the time I was 5, 6, 7 years old, that wasn't necessarily the case. And I had to adjust. And my mother and my family did not behave as if this was like an odd situation. So it wasn't as jarring for me. But I can see how white people would look at this white family in Ethiopia and be like, oh my God, he has sneakers in the bathroom. Yeah, his sneakers are in the bathroom. Where else are you going to store them? That's where he has to clean them from the mud that he has to walk through to get to public transportation, to get to his job, to get to the market, to get to whatever. That it makes the most sense. Like, just because it doesn't fit the construct of your day-to-day life doesn't mean that it's abnormal.
Get my American entitlement all the way together. Because I definitely said, this nigga got all the sneakers in the bathroom.
As Americans, we're like, but mold, what are you...
I was like, it's just a wall of sneakers.
It's a multi-purpose room.
Which makes sense.
Your stuff in. Like, my grandmother taught me how to wash my underwear while I'm bathing. Your underwear is not going in the machine.
Oh yeah, no, I wash my drawers in a tub. Bitch, I bought a washboard today. I bought a bamboo washboard because I wash my drawers in the tub. I don't wash them in the laundromat.
It's
bathroom when I bathe.
This
is old school. Like
that's so complicated being a woman. Like you have to resort to like colonial tactics and things.
Nigga. I'm like, if I want these bras to last, and these bitches are $70 a pop.
Thank you.
I can't put them in no fucking washing machines. I know, and Nick and fucking Whitney got brontosaurus titties, so she got about her bras are more expensive than mine.
Do you know how much? Do you know how much men's drawers you can get with $70?
Yeah,
all of them.
All of them. I would say
all of them.
Pair.
Yeah, like a whole lifetime, $70.
But y'all,
if you don't
have
care about
expensive
yourself.
Socks. I will say y'all have expensive socks.
Our laundry and the household chores. He does the laundry every week, and I'm so grateful. And I often wonder if he.
A man.
I often wonder if he questions where my underwear is because I really be.
What you think? Do you, George?
No, because underwear be in the laundry.
Because what? Hold on. Talk up.
Excuse me?
Speak up.
Speak up. Speak up. We couldn't hear you.
Her underwear be in the laundry, so I don't question anything because I just laundry and I see just mad underwear in there. You know, I don't really wonder.
That's half of it.
He's like, because that ain't my business.
So
he doesn't wash many bras, okay? Because my bras are hand washed and
I know that's right.
Dried and put away.
That's it.
So the rest of the story is where it shifted because her mama was with the shit. She was like, you know, the hospital was cool, can't even front. You know, y'all was some bad bitches. Y'all did the damn thing. Then they went out for tea.
Her hotel was nice.
Yeah, then they went out for coffee, which I know that shit was strong because that shit looked like dirt. Like,
bitch, I looked at it and I said, I want
dirt.
that right now.
Same.
I was like, this looks like espresso by the pot, and I want it.
Yeah, that was hell in a cup.
You can keep the popcorn, though.
It's caffeine in a cup, okay?
But you
and
keep
then
that
I was
popcorn.
like, yeah. I'm not going to yuck nobody's yum because I'm sure it's a wonderful delicacy in Ethiopia. But I was very concerned at the fact that the pregnant woman was consuming that much caffeine at once. Because I was like, I was like, that ain't no regular coffee. I was like, this ain't Phaedra. Like no.
Like, but wait.
See, look at you, Jay, because Jay.
I didn't. As a person who was pregnant and secretly,
I don't have a uterus, so I don't have room to judge. I was just saying, from what I knew, I didn't think you could have that. I just didn't think you could have that much. You shouldn't have that much caffeine as a person.
You can have a cup a day of coffee. I think is what the OBGYN told me.
But a cup of that a day?
That's gone.
Well, you know, they don't really specify. They just say a cup of coffee. So, cup of coffee and a glass of wine.
Ethiopian coffee, Turkish coffee, Arabic coffee, Colombian coffee. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't drink what they talking about. I don't drink that. So I'd say, you said coffee? Bet. I can have a cup a day. I will savor the fuck out of this cup. Do you hear me?
Whoever's cup today, okay?
Thank you. I want a cup. I'm like, a cup a day. Okay, what if I squeeze all of these into like one day? How does that work? But it was a very strong coffee. I was more concerned with the consistency of the popcorn as you drink the coffee, but that's just me in my mind. I was like, ew, it gets all mushy.
No,
it's literally a texture thing for me.
Of the space, you know, like I was curious.
No, it wasn't even that. It was just like you put the popcorn in your mouth and then you just take a little coffee, and I know it just disintegrates and it'd be all mushy in your mouth. Oh, I can't. That's the only thing I could think about.
So while they were having coffee, though, that's when they got into the nitty gritty and the rough and titty of the conversation. And, you know, her mama laid it on the line and was just like, you know, I don't know you. And I have some concerns. I don't know what your intentions are. I really need to know what the fuck happened between you and your American ex-wife. What happened? Right. And so he says, well, one day she just got up and left. And her mom was like, no, that ain't what happened. So she accused, here he says, she accused him of something through social media, and which wasn't true, an old friend, and she got up and left. Again, she said, I don't believe that either. So then he says, well, no, it was something from social media, and I apologized. And she was like, but I thought you didn't. Why'd you apologize if you didn't do anything wrong? So, you know, Ethiopian Bruce Leroy is like stuttering because there's a communication barrier. But I'm also like, no, you know what the fuck exactly what she's saying. Go ahead, Whitney.
Yeah, I was there.
That any woman who is a new parent, a new mother of a newborn, no matter the race, is never so quick to pack up shop and dip off. Unless the circumstance calls for it. Because moving babies is motherfucking expensive and exhausting.
Yeah.
On your own, to me, your biological disposition is to make sure the father is nearby. Because you need help. You need support. Somebody that you're with your young. Like, let's go purely biological, right? Like, never mind the social constructs or anything like that. Purely biological. Me, a new mother of a newborn, the only person I'm really willing to leave my young with is its father or my mother. And that's it. So to me, when I hear that this woman was like, you know what? I'm out.
I felt like she was alluding initially to where you trying to come to it because you got 2 babies by 2 Americans. So, like, what's your MO? And then, but he was like, I'm not interested in coming to America. Like, I'm not.
With Americans, they are conditioned to believe that anybody who is not American and not born and raised in America is desperate to be in America, and that is.
Baby, let me tell you about Chilligan's Island. Okay, that is what I call America. Okay, that ain't no damn puppy. America is Chilligan's Island. It ain't no damn puppy. No, America ain't. And look at it now. You got fucking white people out here punching holes in their mask, and it's just all kinds of lawlessness.
It's of it, but as a first generation American, I will absolutely tell you that majority of my family was not clamoring to be in America. It was a sense of duty and responsibility to be in America. I promise you that. Everybody is fine in their native land. I assure you. No,
Tristan's family is doing just fine in Trinidad. Ain't nobody worried about trying to move over here.
Good in Trinidad. Clamoring to be in nobody's America. We choose to be there for a distinctive purpose.
We're going to talk about that because we're going to get to George because George has a very brief American history, but we'll get to that after this. So yes, ASAP and Jira. And the moms, it seems like they came to some sort of whatever. She's trying to figure out the living situation. She's trying to figure out why this lady left him. And we're still asking questions because I agree with you. I do recognize that there's a language barrier there, but I looked at that nigga's face and I said, oh, he knows. He knows what the fuck she talking about. So
That's something that
he knows. So so next week we saw a preview where young Durawat was doing a 1-2,
the dirty dance,
you know, for work. He had on his good puffy shirt, and there was glitter, and they were, you know, dancing with the stars. And he was dancing with this beautiful Princess Jasmine, because I'm convinced Princess Jasmine is African. And he was dancing with this beautiful Princess Jasmine, and Moms goes, you my baby girl. Like, I love you. I really, really do. I love you. I birthed you. You know what I'm saying? I think you're beautiful in my eyes. But that bitch is bad. Who is that? Who is that she's dancing with? He's dancing with this. She was like, oh, that's his dancing partner, his ex. And Moms was like, oh, baby.
Because there's nothing like a black woman.
And she looked at her moving and gyrating and whining and all of that and all sorts and such. And she goes, so you gonna be at home with that new baby and them sneakers in the bathroom, and like this nigga's gonna be out here with Princess Jasmine just twirling, just twirling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just gonna move over here. You just gonna be there with that standing water and that baby. And this nigga's gonna be out cutting a rug with this beautiful beak. Can't wait. I can't wait till next week.
Splits your girl was hitting. I was like,
listen, I was just ready for her to just on a handstand. Like I just didn't know what was gonna happen. Who we have? We have Devin and Jihoon last.
Yeah. Next is Braces the Stallion
and yes,
Fine Bodega Baby Daddy. I'm gonna just tell their story and then we could talk. So essentially, last episode, Yazan said that he needed to talk to his OG, to settle some shit, because there's tension in the land, and so he, they all met up at Panera's because it was decorated like a Panera. And, OG was like, listen, I could talk to your father. He conservative and all, but Brittany got to change her ways. And Yazana's like, but we just want to date. And OG was like, yeah, all right, I'll talk to him. And, Braces was like, oh my God, I don't know what he's talking about. I know this is about me. Oh my God, I know this is about me. And then, Yazan, he doesn't understand nuances in English, so therefore the words that he says is just like, ooh, no. He'd be like, you have to change a lot. It's just like, which is very true. But it's like all that good stuff. And so, OG agreed to, talk to Yazan's brother, uncle or father, uncle. Yeah, Uncle Daddy. And that was that. So now Whitney currently lives in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, her and George. But she left us to go live in Doha. And originally. And then you moved to another part of the UAE.
You went to what, Qatar?
No, I was in Doha, Qatar for 1 year, and then I was in the UAE, so Dubai, Abu Dhabi for 4 years. So I spent 5 years in the Middle East.
Oof.
surrounded by mainly GCC people, so people from Bahrain, from the UAE, from Qatar, from Saudi, but also people from Jordan, from Egypt, from Lebanon. Like most of my time is spent around Middle Eastern people overall, whatever they want to identify the Middle East as, because it does vary from person.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something specific about the enmeshment between religion and culture for Muslim people of the Middle East that is so specific that I see Braces the Stallion's problem and her partner's problem, because as open-minded as he may be, tradition rules overall. It really does. And this is not just specific to the Middle East, mind you. It's not. Like, and even in our own cultures, tradition rules overall. So the amount of times that my family has given my cousin grief for living with her partner of now 18 years. They've been married for 7 years, but they've been together for 18 years. We are the same age, and they gave her grief about it. That's when the enmeshment happens, like this cultural expectation of behavior, where your behavior is dictated by tradition. And Arab culture is often, Arab culture and the religion of Islam are typically not secretive, but very misunderstood, especially by people who are not involved in it, truly involved in it. And I truly believe that this girl saw this man, thought he was good looking, thought she understood what Islam was on a very westernized scale. But from the root of it, from the truth of it, she's not equipped to deal with what he has to combat to be with her. It almost feels non-negotiable. And the language that's used, like calling her a prostitute, I feel like every Black woman especially is like, how dare you? But it's not about black and white in that case. It's literally about tradition, the norms, what exists in the it doesn't necessarily dictate like race and ethnicity in that case. Obviously, because we know how Islam spans the globe. So when I see her sitting in a space where the mother refuses to be seen on camera, is getting irate about how her son is looking and not understanding the language that's being discussed around her, I understand the panic. But on the other side, I also understand the deep-rooted culture, tradition, and the enmeshment of culture and tradition and religion, which doesn't typically happen for people like us, right? So Christianity, Catholicism, whatever you want to call it, the enmeshment doesn't typically happen in that way. When it does, it is equally as harmful. And for them, it can be truly enmeshed. It can be really like just completely intertwined, and she can't separate the two, to where she's claiming, because I also agree that she's stalling because she knows what's up.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But let's take that her family present. But for his family, the longer Yazan sits in a space with this woman who is not his wife, the more it appears to be them just messing around and dating or fucking, essentially.
Right, which is haram.
Fucking, it's haram. And the shame is brought upon the man, but she appears to be like a prostitute. It's not right, but it's right. That's what it looks like. So there's not a desperation, but there's like an intensity around the situation that neither party within the couple can navigate appropriately. Understandably so.
Go ahead, Jay.
I will say last week we questioned her love for him.
Yes.
This week as I was watching the episode, I said, well, I'm just going to have to eat those words, because while I do fully believe that she is stalling, I sat there and as I was watching it, I said, you know what? Nobody is going to go through these hoops and these lengths right now to be with somebody who they don't love.
As someone who has been yelled at by an Arab woman, that is a level.
Have you?
Oh, absolutely. Parents. And they're wonderful. It's a yelling from a place of passion and love of their children.
Okay.
And untoward. It's never been like, I understand where it's coming from. It's not always appropriate, obviously, but there's something about the culture and religion and tradition that can be extremely intimidating. And to watching this girl sit there in this like makeshift hijab while people are speaking a language she doesn't understand around her, discussing a culture she doesn't have any clue about. And if there were ever a state in the U.S. that is the polar opposite of Arab culture,
it's Florida. Florida's the opposite of New York. Like, Florida's the opposite of everything that's right in this world.
America, that was truly the quintessential polar opposite of Arab culture. It would have to be Florida.
Lawless ass Florida.
That's why, yeah.
Oh God, I believe that she's interested in this man. I believe that she is willing and open to explore, but she doesn't understand the certainty and the gravity of his expectations as a man, especially. Like, he doesn't have, just like women don't, people always assume like in Arab culture, like the women are oppressed and no one has wiggle room, male or female.
Bitch, I know, because let me explain to you all, as Whitney lived overseas for 5 years in that environment, she was not allowed to FaceTime me. She was not. Every time we found a new method of communication, first it was FaceTime was out from jump. Then we tried House Party. Then we tried fucking what's the other shit? You put me onto every Marco Polo. I mean, when I tell you them niggas would come through like, no. No video chats for you.
And listen, like Yazan's mom not wanting to be on camera. I worked at an all-girls school. It's all girls, mostly Emirati, like mostly local UAE students. And they're not supposed to be photographed. First of all, they're not supposed to be not covered, which is understandable. Like, they have to be covered all the time. But there are some students that couldn't, even if they were covered, couldn't be photographed. Like, it's all these things you kind of have to navigate and understand and respect. And when there's no context, and I feel like the problem in America is that we're never given the context of it. We're told cover. So you see their niqab or you see their hijab and you're like, oh, they're shrouded, they're oppressed, they're not allowed. And assumption of oppression and this assumption of torture that's happening. And that's not the case because we're never taught the context of it. And when I learned the context of it, I respected it. And the perfect example of it was there was this girl named Mira. Mira was graduating from high school when I worked with her, and we were discussing covering, we were discussing the hijab, we were discussing the niqab, and she said, Miss, the way I was taught was my father told me I am a pearl. I am a pearl in an oyster. And the value of a pearl is larger when you don't actually see the pearl. When you don't know what's in the oyster. It's the idea of surprise. Like, I've never seen it. So you say, oh, I have a daughter, Alia, who I want to get married. And the son is like, I've seen Alia. I've seen Alia at the mall. I've seen Alia in the street. I've seen Alia on social media. I've seen Alia. But Mira, I've never seen her. I don't know what she looks like. I've never seen her hair. I've never seen her face. And there's an allure to it. There's a protection to it. And she's like, my father has always treated his children, especially his daughters, like pearls. We're special and we're to be protected and shrouded. And our value is protected in that way. And for me, it was eye-opening. But we don't learn that in America. We don't necessarily, like, even as many Muslim friends as we have, like, it's just never really truly the discussion of and the expectations function. So I can see Brace, what do you call her?
Brace is the stallion.
Brace is the stallion. God.
She's a rapper.
Yeah, she is from Florida.
She is a Floridian rapper.
She's a Fashion Nova ambassador.
Oh, things. I can see the struggle she's about to encounter. For sure. Because Yazan values her beauty, he values her strength, he values all these things. What I've witnessed Arabic and Muslim men value in their women. I've seen it for sure, but there's an expectation of how that is presented to the world and in what context that's presented to the world. And that is very measured. And if you choose to love an Arab man, that's part of it. And she has to get down with that. To me, she has to get down with that. Or you can get back with your little Haitian crew.
Right.
Chalet, no, and we want to stay away from that.
Right.
From that young man.
So let's go on to last, but definitely not least.
Oof.
June and Devin. I realize they're the only couple that don't have nicknames because they don't need any. Like
they don't need none. They don't need. We don't even. There's no reason.
And you know what? For this episode and probably for the next couple, Drusilla isn't the worst person ever. She's actually quite pleasant. Although I will say she did demonstrate that we were right all along when she wanted a dead fish as a pet, and that confirmed everything that we've said about her. But outside of that,
also I believe that Drusilla is being quiet right now because she's plotting.
Yeah. Every time I think Beelzebub. So. I mean, I get it, but there was something about the way she was sweating in those Korea streets that just made me realize that's just the evil emanating from her. And
I agreed with XD. I said that child asked for a dead fish.
That baby is touched.
We be spot on.
Brother, ever.
Yeah.
People like, children are off limits. She's not a child. Have you all ever seen The Orphan?
Okay,
Drusilla. Like, anyway, please carry on, XD.
So Siri fucked all them up in the game. Siri, Google Assistant, they just could not get it
Alexa.
together. Just none of them worked. So they all go. Devin and her mama, Barbara Jean from Reba, and Drusilla go to the market and have a wang dang doodle where Drusilla wants a dead fish to take home to love, and because she's Wednesday Addams. But later on, they had a bad bitch link up dinner with Ji-hoon and his parents. Because Devin was like, I need to get to the bottom of the situation, and the only way to do that is to confront the HBIC, his mama, because she has all the money. So she pulls up to the food spot.
Her bus.
Yeah, so she was like, squeak, squeak. And she pulls up in there, And she sits down, and you know she looks intense because she doesn't smile because ain't shit sweet, and so all her and
she only smiles at wildly inappropriate times.
Yeah. So she sits down, and they're like, "Where's Alicia?" She was like, "Well, you know, the bat is sick, so she needed to take care of her." So then
it was that fish.
It was fish.
It was that dead fish. The baby was licking that dead fish when we wasn't looking.
How you think? You realize this was 7 months ago. You realize this was 7 months ago. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. If you look at the timeline.
Wait.
I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
It's not
y'all
lost
said it.
on me. It's not lost on me that it was 7 months ago. And this is Drusilla, who is like the source of all darkness. I'm not saying. But maybe it wasn't Italy. And maybe it wasn't China. It was Drusilla. Yo, Dr. Fauci, hit us. We got
I'm just gonna put it out there real quick though.
I'm just saying the WHO might want to hit up Jaden XD because clearly we got the sources right here.
We are geno tracking.
That's all I'm saying, nigga.
Nigga, science, nigga.
Gang. Can you imagine if we were the source of figuring out where Corona came from?
Oh my God. Jaden XD winning a Nobel Prize.
Right.
Yeah, nigga.
Like, they found the source. I'm like, you know the vibes.
We'd be like when 3 6 Mafia won the Oscar. It'd be the exact same situation.
It would be like when Hot Boys won that BET award when they first introduced Bling Bling to the world, and we get on the stage, bling bling baby, bling bling baby. That's all I'm saying. At least we know where it came from. So anyway, so Drusilla is incubating, and they're at dinner.
Oh God.
And so, you know, they pull out the Alexa and they get to translating. So at first, you know, Alexa's doing her job. And then niggas start speaking too fast on both ends, and she got confused. And she started sounding like a Trump speech. And
yeah,
that fucking speech he gave where he was like, the birds in Ireland and the windmills in China are causing. And I was like,
Maya Angelou. Okay, like it got real abstract.
The birds. It was like the sunsets, the trees, the flowers, and the birds.
Like
But the whole point of the conversation was essentially Jihoon's parents are on Devin's side because they're just like, she's upset because you haven't told her. She doesn't know these things because you refuse to say these things and communicate to her because you feel embarrassed or whatever soft shit you told us last week.
Right.
So
that's how his mama was talking. She's like, man up, nigga. Man up.
Was vacillating between like problematic and being a mom, like
right, she was
man up type.
She was being
like,
your
don't
standard
cry,
foreign
dry
parent.
your eyes. Here comes your dad with those two little guys. Like
she was just being a standard foreign parent. All foreign parents are like that. Most foreign parents,
don't matter where they come from. And TBQH. Nigga parents are the same way.
Yeah.
Male and female children at that.
Yeah.
you how I was not allowed to cry.
But everything got lost in translation because it ended up kind of being like a Braces the Stallion and Bodega Baby Daddy situation where it was a lot of talking and she didn't understand anything that was going on, and the cadence sounded like, to her it seemed as if everybody was upset at her.
Can I just? There's something about Arabic in general that's quite aggressive. Just the cadence of Arabic, like, it can be very like harsh.
I feel like
I will.
No. Go ahead. I'm gonna shut up.
No, I will say Korean can be harsh too, only because in the way that his parents speak to him, like some of the words and they won't be upset. Like, this is the first time we've actually seen his mother upset or like yell at him or whatever. And even then, but like some of the things, like how they're like, they get really excited, or how Jihoon will get really excited. It can sound aggressive.
It can. If you don't understand what, like, Vietnamese can sound like that sometimes too. I remember I used to order my pho, and I figured out how to order my pho in Vietnamese. But I order it, and then they scream it to each other. They'd be like, "Phat Ai Nam La." But actually, I'm not being racist. I really just said large beef noodle soup.
No, you did.
The Arabic, Korean, like Asian languages.
It can sound, but I also wonder how English sounds to non-English speaking people. Like, I wonder, you know how like French is a pretty ass language?
I would say,
like,
George, how does English sound to you?
Well, George grew up speaking English.
Well, I mean, like,
but overall, like, what does it sound like? What is it like? Okay, so you know how most languages have like a tone, a stereotypical tone, right? So they say, "Oh, Italian, French, and Spanish sound
romantic." Right.
Arabic, Russian, Asian languages sound hard.
German.
Exactly. What is the stereotype for English? What does English sound like in your mind when you hear it?
Like when me and Whitney when we be talking on the phone at our peak, right, like, and running our jibs. I don't like how you quickly agreed. How does that sound to you? When we be deep in the trenches, how does that sound?
Very American, very loud. Korean people, they all sound the same, very loud as well, you know, very...
Mm-hmm.
My family is exactly the same, you know.
Yeah, his family's damn sure the same. Very Caribbean, very loud.
Oh.
Very like,
English people from England sound drunk very fast. A couple of drinks and, well, you know, bloke and, you know, like, sound like...
You can do that because you from Europe. but we sound so, but like, okay, so you said we sound very loud, but like, you know how we said Italian sound romantic, Spanish sounds romantic, French sounds romantic. Like, do we just sound like when I hear people speaking in Vietnamese, it sounds like they all shouting and screaming at each other. Does it sound like that when we're talking?
No, not all the time. Not all the time. Okay. But I get what you're saying. Like, you know, Asian people, you know, I think Caribbean people tend to have the same thing, you know, like,
yeah,
when they make a point, they it sounds aggressive, you know?
Yeah. My old coworker, turn up the music on the iPod. Like, it did sound very aggressive.
They're like,
you're right. I'm like, first of all, take it down 7 octaves. But George's initial reaction was probably the truth. We sound like some obnoxious ass.
All the time.
For all of our listeners who live in other places, please tell us what we sound like. We're just curious to know. So they're going back and forth. It sounds like the parents are upset, and but ultimately they were siding with Devin. It was just the language barrier. Siri was fucking up bigly. She got a little drunk.
Yeah, big time.
And then Ji-hoon had the nerve to get an attitude and storm out of there. And can I just tell you, the most disturbing part of that was that he stepped over his baby. Her and his baby. But the baby, that nigga, so in full context, George, Devin is from America. Ji-hoon is from Korea. Korea. He's from Korea. And they went out to dinner. They've been having trouble. So Ji-hoon lied to Devin. He told her that he was financially ready, had a job, and all of these things so that she can move her oldest bat and their youngest baby over to Korea. Nice. So, she packed up all her belongings. Her mother went with her to help her settle in. And when they got to Korea is when she found out that he lied and that he did not have a full-time job and was in no position whatsoever to take care of a family. So she is livid. She is pissed. And now he has the audacity to have an attitude, even though he is the only source of the problem in all of this.
Excuse me.
So he stepped over the baby. He stepped over her. He left. And she told him that she was like,
can we have
bitch? She what?
His pocket smacked her in the face, but...
Oh, I did not see that.
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah, he did walk out switching real hard, barefoot.
Yeah. So we'll see next week because Devin's bad at her wits end, and I don't blame her. And there is nothing at this point. There is nothing endearing about Ji-hoon. At first, it was like, oh, he's funny, but he's lazy. But now it's like, no, nigga, you just trash.
Yes. Like,
yeah, you just trash.
Somebody into moving across the world under false.
Because Drusilla's not even at an age where her seat is free anymore.
Yeah. Like and she said on her YouTube channel that they pay for their flights. The only things that TLC pays for is the flight to the reunion because that's work. Otherwise, these flights back and forth, that's their issue. Like that, they ain't got nothing to do with them.
Your life, and your life is part of you finding the money to buy your tickets.
You the whole reason that we even filming the show. So go up to that United Airlines desk or wherever the fuck and get busy. Production will be back here. So next week we'll find out what's what with them. As XD said, I think they are still together, but in the midst of all this, we'll find out what happens.
Right. Let's take a break and we'll be right back after these messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The days are getting shorter, and you can feel it in the air. Yes, it's that time of year. Pumpkin is finally back at Dunkin'. It's the cozy you've been craving all summer long, now in your cup at Dunkin'. Pick up all of your pumpkin favorites, like the signature pumpkin spice iced latte, or a pumpkin iced coffee, and bakery items like pumpkin donuts and muffins. Sip into something comfortable to celebrate the start of cozy season. Use the Dunkin' app for contactless ordering. America runs on Dunkin'.
Okay, so work's done and you're craving something spicy and salty. I know. What I do is snack on Blue Diamond wasabi and soy sauce flavored almonds. They're so good, and almonds are a superfood. Don't deny your cravings. Eat them. Blue Diamond almonds. Crave victoriously.
And we're back with George and Whitney. You like that?
I'm about to call y'all George and Whitney. George and Whitney.
Easy.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk to them a little further because they have a 90-day the other way experience.
Yeah.
Kind
living
of,
it
sort
currently.
of. Yeah. So
My new life.
you go. Tell us in the story
How long
in
have
140.
you-
Tell us what happened.
So you told us that you moved to Dubai, Qatar, the UAE, all of that.
Oh, man.
And then you so what? So where are you currently?
I'm current. Okay. I'm going to tell you where I am, and then I'm going to let George tell you where I actually am, right? So in my American mind, I am in Rotterdam, Netherlands. But where
Okay.
George?
We're in Rotterdam, Netherlands.
Don't say it like that.
South side, Rotterdam. You know.
But how do y'all say it? It's Rotterdam.
Say it, George.
Rotterdam.
There you go.
Rotterdam.
Rotterdam. Yeah, I got here June 2019 from Dubai, and I've been here for a year since.
And what made you move
Yeah.
to Rotterdam?
Oh my God. Okay, so I originally left America under some like freewheeling shit, right? Like Sally Mae was being a bald-headed scallywag every day, and I didn't have time for it. So I was like, let me get this bank, let me get these coins. So I went to the Middle East, but the GCC specifically. So I went to Qatar first, then I went to the UAE next, where you get that tax-free money. They pay for your housing. They pay for a lot of things. They pay you very well. And I was able to cut off a lot of my debt as a result. In the midst of that, this motherfucker showed up. I met him when I was visiting my cousin. I have a cousin who moved here 30 years ago from Trinidad. And when I came to visit her, I ended up meeting him. And we went on a couple dates in Amsterdam when I was there with a few of my friends. I think you know one of them, XD. Do you know Ricky?
Yeah.
Yes. So I was here. I went on vacation with Ricky and Javier.
Oh, yes. Ricky and Javier. I know both of them.
I went on vacation with them, and while I was on vacation with them, Javier's mom, Miss Gloria, shout out to Miss Gloria, actually...
Yes. A baddie.
A baddie, okay? Like,
well, I want to see Miss Gloria.
Miss Gloria, mind you, that's my middle name. She is the truth, Ruth, okay?
You have to be with a name like Gloria.
She walked me out to meet George, and we left the restaurant. We were walking to meet George, and she was like, I just want to make sure that this young man knows that you have family here who loves you and knows that you're here. It's like, that was the first person that he met was Miss Gloria, Javier's mom, and me.
Oh, wow.
We went on a date, and it went very well, and then he came back. He drove back from Rotterdam to Amsterdam, and we had a 3 consecutive day date situation during spring break of 2018. So
3 consecutive, y'all left ways in the evening time and came back together in the morning, or
it was raining. I was like, oh, you're dead ass. Like, oh, you.
Or did you wake up and that nigga was making you eggs? Like, what's up?
Size of these European hotel rooms will not allow for eggs to be made. Okay. Ain't no eggs being fried up in these tiny ass hotel rooms out here, okay?
So George, when she first came,
right,
and you all, how'd you feel after them 3 dates and such and whatnot? What was your first what's the word I'm looking for? Impression. There we go. Thank you so much. What was your first impression of this woman?
Well, the amount of fun that I had just in one day, it just made me want
Tell
to
her what
have
brought
more
us
fun.
together. Tell her what brought us together.
Well,
What video?
Well, was it Tinder video?
It would what we were watching.
Oh, the Great Taste. Oh yeah. I
Great Taste.
covered her because of Great Taste.
All Deaf Digital.
Yeah.
You black ass.
Oh.
Well,
Y'all are
Tristan and I came together.
Gotta...
We came together over Killer Season, so it's fine.
Yeah.
We did. He was like
case on All Def Digital, and we stayed up till 5 a.m. watching these videos and cracking up,
just crying, laughing,
dying.
Blacks,
and that was
Blacks. I love a good love story. So, okay, Whitney, tell us about some of the challenges you've encountered in moving into these new environments, from, the UAE to, the white motherland.
XD, don't laugh, because she's dead at it.
No, it's so funny because I was having a conversation with Chris Rogers the other day about the Vikings, and he was like, that's why white folks are salty, because they lost the first war. So
stay mad, Abby. Stay mad. Stay mad, okay?
Oh God.
Anyway, I will say, like, of course, I listen to the podcast because y'all are my friends. Like, I've been friends with Jade and XD since 2010.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Always
Whitney was part of that. She was part of that group of bougie ass blacks that I met with XD.
A bunch of niggas, okay?
Y'all were a bunch of You should have seen yourselves in the Vapiano when I walked into the Vapiano. Y'all look like the motherfucking unfriendly black hotties.
I was telling XD before we started, I was like, XD was the catalyst for a lot of my relationships. Like, the first time I met my favorite story, actually, I have to tell this story really quickly. The first time XD was at Bossy World Live, right? And
that's where a bunch of y'all blacks met.
On Twitter because of Bossy. And I approached him and I had a necklace on, and he looked at me. He was like, ooh, my friend is going to be real mad about you having that necklace on. Come, I want you to show it to him. He was like, come. Necklace. And I met Kyle, and Kyle and I looked at each other. We both had the same necklace on. We were like about to spar. Like, we were about to go to like a fake fashion.
Of course, you and Kyle had on matching necklaces.
Chaos and negativity. I wanted to see a girl fight. So.
But from that point on, XD has been the center of a lot of experiences in my life, where, like, when I moved to Flatbush, when I moved to Bed-Stuy, when I worked in Flatbush, when all of these, like, super important moments in our lives, like, we've been together for all those things. So this was kind of like the culmination of those things and meeting. Actually, I met Jade's husband first. I met Tristan first when he worked at the Grill.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I met Jade, I didn't know how she perceived us. Like, I didn't realize what we looked like.
Unfriendly black hotties. I was like, well, look at this batch of zhuzhy ass blacks.
A bunch of niggas, because that's what we were.
No, absolutely.
Great time.
But y'all sit there and y'all be all hoity-toity, and you know how XD sits in his pomp and circumstance. So here I come barreling in with my backpack like, I'm looking for this bitch named such and such. Y'all look like y'all might know her.
All of that, I ended up going on vacation to Qatar because my cousin was there on assignment. And when I got there, I encountered mostly black women from the UK, the Caribbean, from the US, from Canada, who were there living and just earning money, exploring. They had kids. Some were married, some were not. Some were single moms, some were not moms at all. Like, I met BBC anchors. It was like the most intensive and incredible experience through my cousin Akila. And I definitely have her to thank. Like, it's kind of like this like perfect storm of people who just helps facilitate this. And of course, you guys were always so supportive of me. Like, leaving never felt like a problem, right? Like everybody sent me off with like good graces, like girl, go explore, do it. And I just felt so supported by my people in New York. And after my first year, I was like, okay, I like this. And then I got the new position in Dubai, and I ended up in Dubai for 4 years. So the experience was a lot of like growth and experience. And then by my second to last year in Dubai, I ended up meeting George. And the funny thing is, like, after meeting George, it didn't feel like a thing was happening. It was kind of like it was happening really fast. I was like, okay, this is happening. It wasn't until 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way came out that I was...
I feel seen.
Yeah.
Niggas is trying to sell my story without my permission. What is happening?
And why they ain't asked me to be a part? Y'all could have been on Happily Ever After.
Still can, low key.
Yeah, truly.
Offended.
XG.
So,
let's exploit them. Let's exploit them for money. Let's exploit them for money.
Oh, we can, because I know for a fact that people from Sharp Entertainment listen to the show. Because
we know you motherfuckers listen. We know you motherfuckers listen.
They missed a good storyline because there's no real like Caribbean aspect to the 90 Day Fiancé franchise, right? And it's right here.
So let's talk about that real quick. The Caribbean connection, because we got Whitney, who's from Queens via Florida. Sorry. And then we've got George, who is Netherlandian. Netherine.
Dutch, Jade, Dutch.
Cuba.
Oh, yeah, Dutch. Oh, yeah, Dutch. I forgot. So we got George, who's Dutch via Aruba. No, in Aruba. And then you lived in the UAE and y'all niggas connected.
We did. So like the initial experience like is I personally didn't know how many Caribbean people were here because the assumption is like the white motherland. That's how I see it. Like the Netherlands is the white motherland. Like when they tell you go back to your country, they mean it. Like they dead ass. Like not joking. They're not. It's not like America.
Europe,
like, you first, white nigga. You first. Like no. When they say go back to your country, they're dead fucking serious. Like no, you go. Go first. Oh my god. One. Okay. So that's been a bit of an adjustment because I'm used to my little privilege of being like, well, you first, European immigrant.
Right.
Right.
When I first met George's family, the first family member I met was it your dad, your stepdad? It was Jimmy. Yeah. And when Jimmy his stepdad his dad essentially would speak in English, he sounded like my uncles. And I was like, what?
Wait a minute.
He had a Caribbean accent. He was from Suriname. Like I was like, and of course I didn't know much about Suriname. I didn't know enough. Like you have like a Caribbean kind of idea of other South American, Caribbean islands, but overall you just didn't really truly understand like the accent and the history and the connection between the two. So I always envisioned myself being with a man who was Caribbean. I always assumed like, Trinidadian, Jamaican, Bayesian kind of, but never Aruba. I've been to Aruba. Like I went to Aruba when I was 25. I never even imagined that I would be with somebody who was from Aruba now. And he's taught me a lot about like the colonization of that aspect of the Caribbean. Essentially, we don't learn about it. We don't know about it. Like to me, Curacao and Aruba is a vacation spot, and Curacao is a halfway point to the next island. Mm-hmm. So like meeting him and his family, there's like a deep, deep, deep tradition, like the music, the language, the food, all these things that are so like deeply rooted, that are so reminiscent of Trinidadian culture. I'm always very like, his aunts remind me so much of my aunts. The music reminds me of my music. Like, they go up for calypso and soca, like unlike other.
Oh, I know you are hype boots about that.
Because other Caribbean islands be hating, okay? Because they be hating. They be hating. But these islands, they be like, oh, we love soca. And I'm like, really?
You. Oh, and calypso too? A totally different feel. The birds in the trees go chirp, chirp, chirp. I shine my shoes. I'm like, damn, these niggas sing about everything.
They love it, Jay. They love it.
I live for that. I love the connection. XD, you got question? Did you have something you want to ask?
No, I'm like...
Okay, I do have another question then. George, can you tell us, because this is an experience that we do not have, can you tell us what it was like growing up? Well, first of all, give them your little history, because we talked about your very slight American connection, and then tell them why your mother moved you to Europe, and then can you let us know what it was like growing up in the white motherland, like the mouth of the lion? I'm just, yeah.
There's so many questions.
Okay, first, sorry. Tell them your connection, like where you came. We know you're from Aruba, but your Brooklyn connection, and then to the Netherlands.
Right. So I was born in Aruba, San Nicolas, and I basically almost immediately moved to New York with my friends.
Like every other Caribbean, yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I was like, you moved straight to Flatbush.
Yeah.
Flatbush is black folks' Ellis Island.
George.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. That's nigga Ellis Island. That's what it is.
It is nigga Ellis
Island. Okay, go ahead.
The Ellis Island with Milo, you know what I mean?
I'm done. The Ellis
I'm sorry.
Ellis Island, now featuring Ting. Sorry.
George, continue.
Go on, I'm done.
So yeah, I moved to New York with my mother and father, and after I think 3 years, they got divorced. And because most of the brothers and sisters of my mother was living in the Netherlands, because Aruba used to be it's still under the Netherlands. We moved here, and my father stayed in New York. He's still living there,
still in Brooklyn,
Nostrand Ave,
around the corner.
Can't escape. I can't escape it.
Yeah,
you can't.
But and I grew up. I think I was 4 years old when I came here, and I just grew up here. I was still speaking English, according to some of the people that still know me from then.
George loves to claim that English is his first language.
It is.
No, this
is.
Meanwhile, this nigga's full-blown Dutch, drinking banana milk and shit.
In English, he's like...
I'm like, George, what you over there snacking on? Banana milk and stroopwafel.
My favorite story. So he's Caribbean, right? So Tiger Balm is it's truly part of the experience. So he's like, babe, I need you to rub me with the Tiger Balm. Anytime he's sore, I'll rub him with the Tiger Balm. I was like, well, where do you need me to rub you this time? He goes, my underbach. And I was like...
Yeah.
I was like, you're what? We sat in the bed for like 10 minutes purely crying because Dutch is his first fucking language. He don't think in English. He don't think stop it. He don't think in English. He thinks in Dutch.
Can you tell me what an underback is?
We gotta translate.
What's an underback?
Onderrug,
Yes.
lower back.
Onderrug means lower back.
Yeah. Onderrug.
Okay.
But literal translation is my underback. And he said it in English, and I was like, you're what?
I was lost for a minute.
And he does it all the time. Yeah. It's all the time. So he thinks in Dutch. He thinks in Dutch.
Yeah,
he thinks in English, but he does not. Okay, thank you. He's trying to figure shit out. He's not explaining it. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. What's an underback? I don't know what that is. Is it a fupa? What is that?
Oh my god!
It's like the fupa of the back. You rub my love handles, please. Oh. Okay, so George, the next question was, what was it like growing up in the white motherland? The mouth of the bear. Of the polar bear.
Yeah, it was as when I was young, I always wanted to be raised in the States just because of what I was seeing on TV and stuff.
Right.
My father was from New York, so
he was so close yet so far.
I was like, yeah, exactly. I was so close yet so far. I was like on the other side of the planet. But I was like, I used to be there. But then, as you grow up, you kind of learn more about, the past.
Yeah.
My mother had with, my father used to be abusive to my mother, so that also, kind of was like, maybe it was better. I didn't grow up there, so it was okay. I think I grew up in a little bit better circumstances compared to, how the law is set in the States, and how they're really targeting,
people who look like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Conversation. That was one of the first heavy conversations we had where I want, for me, if I'm looking at this man I want to tie myself to and potentially have children with. And while I respect his knowledge of America and American culture from a consumer aspect, I also need to make sure it's not Caribbean people they'll be oh America they idealize it, romanticize it. And I want to make sure that's not the case. You have to know what's real, and that's a lot of the heavier conversations that we have. And I said that I was like, did you ever have a conversation where your mom had to explain to you how you have to navigate the world, how you have to present yourself? And he was like, yeah, to some extent, of course. I'm a dark-skinned black man in a white man's world. I did have to learn that. But he did say, and one of the things that always struck me was that he said that he is grateful that his mother chose the Netherlands and not America to raise him. Because a fighting chance. He had risk, less attacks, less danger overall. Exist at all. It does exist here, but not to the extent as especially New York City.
Listen, even listening to you all and how they've been handling the pandemic and how that panic and that rush and all that hasn't been surrounding you all. It doesn't seem it's just interesting because I guess technically we don't live in the white motherland. We just live in the white stolen motherland. And you know what I'm saying? So I just it is definitely not the white motherland, but these motherfuckers came through and stole it. But and then we have a lot of misconceptions as Americans. We have a lot of privilege. We have a lot of misconceptions. I'm always asking George questions about life in the Netherlands. He teaches me Dutch on a daily basis. Hamburger. Stroopwafel.
Jade, how to say it. He taught you how to say mayor is Burgermeister.
Oh yeah, Burgermeister. Wait, say it again, George.
You asked me bad difficult words. Dutch like that. I know you're not gonna get it in one time, but yeah.
But it is
my mind to see, like, when I first got here and I saw like black people speaking Dutch, I was like I went to one of his family gatherings and they would talk to me like Caribbean, right? So when they speak to me in English, they'd be like, Whitney, you want something to drink? You want anything? You want some food? Like, and I'm like, oh, you want Johnny Cake? I have Johnny Cake. I have this. I have that. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know, and then they speak to you like, what?
Wait, something went awry. Something went awry.
Like how the duality of it. Like I went to his aunt's birthday party and they're playing soca and they getting down. I'm like, okay, I see you. But then anytime they get on the mic, it's Dutch. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Child. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. I got one more question. Whitney, give us 5 songs that describe your experience of moving abroad.
Okay, so
this is gonna be good.
Number 1 is absolutely Dear Promoter by Voice and Kez. Like, it's this idea of like wherever Trinidadians go is like that's where the party is, right? Like that's it is, and that's how I always feel the minute somebody finds out that I'm Trinidadian. So it's not like the American accent, speaking English wherever I travel. They're like, okay, cool, English speaking girl, American girl. But once they find out Trini, anywhere I go, Australia, India, they don't care. They're like, oh, Trini, they know Fati, okay. that always brings you that. So when that song came out, I was like, this is the quintessential representation of what Trinidadians do globally.
Hands in the sky, we bring the vibes. Once we reach in your fetish niceness, yeah, boy. They can't deny we bring the vibes, and I don't mean to be bossy.
Fine.
Okay.
Number 2.
I agree.
New York State of Mind by Nas.
Oh, child, because
I was gonna say because
I was thinking of
is
Empire State of Mind and God.
Never.
Awful. Muy horrible.
How dare you be original? He said go to any hood that's live and make it liver. That line, that's it. That's what New York City does, okay?
Rappers are monkey flipping with the funky rhythm I be kicking. Musician, inflicting composition of pain. I'm like Scarface, sniffing cocaine, holding an M16. See with the pen, I'm extreme. Now, bullet holes left in my peak holes. I'm suited up with street clothes.
It's facts, though. It's facts.
Facts.
It's the same thing with Caribbeans, because she FaceTimed me from a Caribbean family function the other day just to show me how the Caribbean gets down in the Netherlands. And we all know our Caribbean cousins love a flash. They love a gold. They just love to accessorize.
Same music, same outfit, same length.
Same gold, same gold, Guyanese gold.
More
and
is
she showed
more.
me a nigga who had sunsets cut into his eyebrows. That was a horizon. Those were 2 horizons on his face.
I have to tell Jay, like, white people, and then there's something about white Caribbean people. It's a whole...
Yeah.
Say about the diaspora, so like living abroad and traveling abroad. My favorite story is Ghana. When I went to Ghana, I saw billboards of deceased elders who led the village, right? And they would be posted up in the entrance of the village with their date of birth, date of death. And it reminded me of the murals that you see like in Brooklyn or in city area, like urban areas, whatever. And like the T-shirts and the flyers, and there's no other culture that demands the funeral program like Black.
Mm-hmm.
Need it. We got.
Oh yeah, that's a staple in our community.
Yeah,
must have.
Yeah,
a program.
And if you can't make it, then somebody needs to bring you a copy.
One for you, absolutely.
Yeah,
culture, whether it's Black American, Caribbean, whatever it is. And going to Ghana and seeing the faces emblazoned on the sides of buildings, maybe not in spray paint, but in the same fashion of like kind of honoring these people who have passed, you don't even know where these acts come from. You don't often, this isn't just like hood shit. This ain't no Brooklyn shit. This is like, it's embedded in your culture. It's embedded in the diaspora. Like, you don't even know where it originates from. And it carries through, whether you're in the Middle East, you're in our motherland, you're in the white people's motherland, no matter where you are, it carries through. And I definitely appreciate that. My third song is Put It Down by Bun B, featuring your boy Drake.
When it come to making money, I'm a printing press. And when it come to being trill, I'm the litmus test. Run it like a fitness test. And when it come to making history, I'm like Joe's son. $1 million ways to die, you already chose one. $1 million stacked, it sounds like...
Okay. Yes.
And in there, talking about being homesick, that, it hit me. It always hit me hard. And I felt that. Number 4 is Just Hold On, We're Going Home by Drake, obviously. Just a straight vibe.
Just hold on, we're going home.
I got my eyes on you. You're everything that I see. I want your high love and emotion endlessly. I can't get over you. You left your mark.
Number 4 is Lovely by Billie Eilish and Khalid.
Walking out of town, looking for a better place. Something's on my mind. Always in my...
There's some lines in there that just reminded me of like being homesick and having to be in a certain headspace and a certain dynamic that doesn't always occur when you need it to, right? Like having to be strong, having to create spaces and be a person when you don't feel like being that person. And the last one's a little bit problematic, but we're going to let it happen anyway. It's Mad Cobra, Press Trigger.
Me press trigger, me no press people button. Nobody chat come face me with something. Like how me have 22 in a me something. Then I feel you so forget the next dozen fool. Press trigger, me no press people button.
Press trigger, me no press people button. Like that shit will carry me wherever I go. Like just remembering Caribbean, no matter what, ultimately.
If you guys didn't know, Whitney is Caribbean. She's from Trinidad. Just in case you were confused.
Those are it. Those are my 6 songs. That always make me feel home. Part of my playlist. I have a playlist. Part of my captions when I post pictures when I travel. Those were an easy few songs to grab real quick.
Wow. Thank you.
Well, that
guys.
was a real life episode, yes, of 90 Day Fiancé the other way.
The other way. Let's let George close out with something in Dutch.
Please? Can you say the Blackish Show about nothing?
A show about what?
It's the
Blackish Show about nothing.
How do you say that in Dutch?
The Black Show about nothing.
Oh my God! Yeah. It just just say it. They don't know.
De zwartste programma dat nergens over gaat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
What were you going to say, George? What were you going to close out with?
I just want to give a shout out to all my black folks that's out here, you know. Just real quick, you know, like my Cape Verdean peoples, my Caribbean peoples, people from States.
Really right.
I remember Jake.
Yes. Shout out to everybody.
Yeah.
Shout out to the black people all over the world. Colonization lives.
George loves Jade, like he loves her,
absolutely,
like sister.
I'm very honored to be on your podcast. Absolutely.
I love George. George is my brother. I be FaceTiming Whitney and George, and then sometimes I be like, put George on the phone. Like, get out the screen. Let me talk to George. That's my nigga. Like
together, like no, Jade has been amazing, and I'm extremely. I told George today I'm extremely excited about him meeting XD for the first time. Like this is everything I've ever.
Yeah.
Family, my little friend family, actually coming together, and having a little conversation.
Yes, foreign exchange.
Yeah. Oh, that's the name of the title. That's the episode.
Yeah.
The foreign exchange.
I miss you guys so much.
We miss you too.
We miss you.
I could just draw the coasts together and then those coasts to the Netherlands. It would be ideal. It would be perfect.
Well, we can do that. It's called slavery. But that was another episode of Jade and XD. Boats everywhere, nigga. We was dropped off everywhere.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
How do you say bye in Dutch?
Doei.
Doei.
Tot ziens.
Dag. Doei.
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 The days are getting shorter, and you can feel it in the air. Yes, it's that time of year. Pumpkin is finally back at Dunkin'. It's the cozy you've been craving all summer long, now in your cup at Dunkin'. Pick up all of your pumpkin favorites, like the signature pumpkin spice iced latte, or a pumpkin iced coffee, and bakery items like pumpkin donuts and muffins. Sip into something comfortable to celebrate the start of cozy season. Use the Dunkin' app for contactless ordering. America runs on Dunkin'.
Hey, which glasses look better on me?
Oh, what's this?
Zenni's 3D virtual try-on. Pretty cool, right?
I don't know about the purple cat eyes.
I think they're fun. What about these tortoiseshell glasses? Or these rimless sunglasses? Oh, what about these clear frames?
Wait, are those prices real? Do they have glasses for men?
Yep. They also have affordable blue light glasses.
Seriously? At those prices? Get them all.
I like where this is going.
Zenni.com. Quality prescription glasses starting at $6.95.